This is a video update for the group that owns Cooley Nutcracker. Well guys, I apologise it's taken me a week or so to put this video together, but we're still coming off a very exciting Kentucky 3-day event. In hindsight, I'm very pleased and proud of our result at Kentucky, but a big part of me is disappointed as well. I think we finished 11th place, and we were really close to doing a fantastic result. Unfortunately, we had one moment in the cross country, which we'll see later in this video, which sort of took the wind out of my sails. Anyway, there was a lot that was pleasing. I feel like the dressage was better and better. It's still the flying changes aren't perfect, but they were better than Poe. And all in all, we got a pretty good score. We got a 30, which is sort of the equivalent score we got at Poe. I think this was a slightly better test. I think we got a 29 at Poe, so it was pretty much the same result. I'd been obviously training a lot with Silver, and then Karen Shooter, the team manager, came over to America and actually helped me a lot with my test riding with Barley, and I felt like she was a really good help. So all this trot work that you're seeing here is 8s, 7.5, 7s. So the actual trot work here was very good. I think in hindsight, I wanted to leave him a little bit fresh for the dressage. He's better when he's a little excited, but he was almost a little bit too excited. I think maybe I could have ridden him. I rode him before the test in the morning, but I gave him a really light workout. And if I had my time over again, I think I could have maybe taken a little bit more energy out of him, just because when we got to the canter work, he gets a little excited and a little bit sort of up on his toes, which for Barley, you actually want him for the dressage a little showing off. He's actually best when he's quite hot here or excited for the test. So we were not far off the pace in the dressage. I felt like when I looked at all the scoring of the whole class, everyone was in a couple of marks of each other, and the difference between a good test and a bad test wasn't much. A bad test was 38, 36, and the good tests were 29s and 30s, so not too bad. So this was our first change, and this was an expensive one. We scored, I believe, a 5 for this one here. It was still clean, but it was one stride after my aid, so it was a clean flying change, but I let him sort of fall behind me a little bit, and then I sort of lunged him into it. So I needed to sort of keep him a little bit more in front of my leg through that turn. It was awesome seeing Liz there. You can see in the screen there, Liz was cheering us on, and I hadn't seen Liz until I walked out of the ring. This was our second flying change, which I thought was very good. And we got what did we get? A 7 for this, 7.5 for that. So that was a better change. That second change was a little bit easier for him. And then I think pretty much the third change was good, which is coming up in a second, and then our fourth change is a bit rusty. So the judges, we had 3 judges. One gave us 68%, one gave us just 67%, and the finish judge on the side actually really liked him. He gave him a 71.5%. So this was our third change, and this one was pretty good from memory. And then our fourth one here was a little bit dodgy. Still 4 clean changes. I think Barley physically finds it hard to softly come through over the back in the changes, and they're sort of a forever work in progress. By saying that, I feel like consistently they're getting better. They're still our chink in our armour, or our weak part of the test, but compared to this time last year, if you remember us going to try on 4-star long 3-day event, were diabolical. So we're improving, but at a very gracious rate. And there's Liz, fantastic to see her, and so I gave her about a 15-minute hug after that test, which was wonderful. Cross-country day, I got to say, Barley was spectacular. He really did it easy, and obviously we had one mistake at the quarry, and in hindsight, the round was almost going too perfect. If you sort of watch all our way up to the quarry, I mean, it was effortless for Barley. I think sometimes when you have like a bad jump, or they bump into a jump, or they're crooked, or they try and stop, you give them a bit of stick and you spur them, and if you just watching Barley here, he's just cantering around like a hunter jumper, and we almost sort of got a bit of a shock at the top there. Just thinking back on the whole thing is, my vet talked to me, and Barley's obviously been very, very sound. He's an incredibly sound horse. He recovered from this event perfectly. I think we had him a little heavy, being not a thoroughbred horse. I think our next one, I'd like to trim him up a bit, and almost have just a couple of ribs showing when it comes to the first trot up, where I feel like we've got Barley in fantastic condition, but he's almost a little bit shiny and a bit round. And I think coming into our next big event, I'm going to have him a bit more looking like a greyhound. So just take 50 pounds off him and have him a little bit more sleek. I say in that he never got exhausted tired, and he kept this nice rhythm the whole way around. We're coming up to the quarry, and I take 75% responsibility for this. As I said before, I feel like the round was going so well that I was just expecting him to roll up the hill to the narrow. And the only thing I'd say is Barley, he's sometimes when I turn to a jump, I think he could lock onto it a little quicker. So I got this part good, and then I turned in the air, but I was just a little slow to go up the hill, and then I was way off the jump. It was turned into a really long spot. Now, to give Barley full credit, he went through it, and I thought we were a bit unlucky not to not get a flag penalty, because he sort of jumped the skinny sideways, but he went through the red and white flag. So I know Leslie Law and Karen Shooter argued, but I was way off it, and then he sort of chipped, and then he sort of went through the narrow on an angle, but I felt like the white flag was bashing my left knee. So it's just one of those calls where some ground juries would say you're eliminated, some would say it's clear, and some would say it's a nine penalty flag. So at the end of the day, I could have ridden it better, and it's something I've got to practice for the future. And it was just a perfect round other than that blip. That blip's a bit frustrating because woulda, coulda, shoulda. I think obviously that cost us a little bit of time. We were 10 seconds over the time. So I don't think we would have made the time, but I think we could have been a little bit closer. We had 4 time penalties. But after my trouble at the quarry, I really made sure of this jump, which was very, very difficult. And he was perfect through here. Look at that. Anyway, guys, like I said, Barley recovered really, really well. The Saturday night after our cross-country, he trotted up perfect. And then we've obviously checked him when we got back to the farm here in Pennsylvania, and he was pretty tired the first couple of days. He was just chilling out and lying down in his paddock. But soundness-wise, man, this guy he's made of steel, touch wood, because he's bulletproof. To sort of go through what we went through and not even to have any stiffness or soreness is a full credit to the horse. So what's next will be, my guess is he'll be the reserve horse or the horse for the World Equestrian Games. So I think obviously there's still badminton and Lemoulin and stuff to go, but after his win at Tryon last year and his third place at Poe, and then this was a pretty good run here at Kentucky, he'd be one of the top contenders. So my plan is to give him 3 weeks vacation and then bring him back into work. And then we've got basically the big vet check for the WEG, which is in June 22nd and 23rd. And then we'll know a bit more. It's the week after Lemoulin. I'm hoping to take Dallas to Lemoulin, and then the vet check's there the following week. But Barley will be back in work. He'll be into some light work towards another week or so here. We'll just get him ticking along. And so we'll probably start focusing his fitness towards potentially competing in Aachen, which is July 16, 17, 18th. So maybe block off that date just in case we get the call up. Back to our event, Barley jumped freaking awesome. Obviously, our last show jumping around at Stableview was disappointing. If you remember back to Aiken, South Carolina, where we had the first 2 fences down, and obviously we put the jumps up a little taller for Barley in the warm up, and he jumped unreal. And I felt like he was measuring every jump and really getting his body up in the air. Peter's a genius when it comes to at these big events of making sure we're prepared to get a clear one. So I was very, very pleased with the way Barley jumped. And again, it's annoying to think about, but without our little problem, a problem at the Brush Narrow, we hopefully I think we would have been on the podium or 4th or something like that. So annoying, frustrating, but still a champion effort. Just confirming that this is one of the top horses in the world, and obviously very, very grateful for you guys to place him with us, and we're still far from reaching our potential. This is we've still got many years left at this level, and it's a legend horse, and he's a little bit quirky to ride, but he's gutsy, he tries, he's healthy, he's sound, he's scopy, careful, you name it. He's a great horse. So, finishing Poe and now at Kentucky, it's just a real honour and privilege to ride him. So thank you so much, and fingers crossed we'll see what happens in the next month for where we go from here.
End the day for Cooley Nutcracker with a fine score.